After the winter dance, Theraline decided that she wanted to talk with Mishri.
Mishri.
Yep.
It's actually not after the dance, it's right after the
It was right after the
dinner.
like, the whole meal we had together.
still
That,
same time.
right, in the calendar year area.
In the calendar year, yeah.
Yeah,
So like, we're on our way out,
pretty much, yeah.
and I find you and be like, can I ask you something in private?
Of course.
So you used to look for fragments of shadow.
If you mean what I was employed forcibly to do, yes.
Yes. Do you know what they did with it afterwards?
It was my understanding that there was a market for it. There were unscrupulous men who used them for evil purposes in Dibran.
You don't happen to know, like, what?
Unfortunately not. Was there something?
When you were searching for shadow remnant, like, could you just do that because you're talented, or is there something different about you that allowed you to do that?
I think at least part of it had to do with the talent. One day, a merchant who had some of these in his bag came and made use of my mother's services. And there was something about him that felt off. And he noticed. And the closer I got to his bag, the worse it was. Which is how they discovered I could do this. How I could tell the difference between the black obsidian and the shadow fragments. That's not what they called them, but there's no point in bringing up Dibriaminish terms here. And then just as the years went on, it just got easier. You know, I can sense smaller fragments from further away, you know. They invaded my nightmares. It never really left me. So maybe that was part of it. Maybe it was just exposure. I don't know.
I thought, since I knew you were hunting for them, I thought the only thing they could want to do with them is destroy them.
Unfortunately not. There are evil people who think that they can use evil things for their own purposes, and they don't understand that those things have a mind of their own that might actually be controlling them.
So hypothetically,
Okay.
if I were to ask another mage to look for shadow fragments, what is there something specific? Is there something specific I should tell them? Like, could any mage just look for them and be able to find them relatively simply, or is there something specific that I could ask?
It's a hard question. You might want to ask Alicia too, because she could see things about them before anyone else could. And that's just because she has the sight turned on at all times. So they may or may not be able to hide themselves from the sight. I don't really understand all that. But for me, it's very much a feeling. It feels like everything terrible and horrible just concentrated in one place. It feels like evil.
And when you hurt the shadow in Dibrium, when you disabled it here in Wand, what did you do?
Basically, starved it of virtue. I took all of the virtue out of the anchor stone, so it couldn't access virtue. And the anchor stone was drained for like 4 hours. They are creatures of pure virtue, and if they can't access virtue, they starve and die.
There was more. He said to my
What?
There was more.
Okay.
Physically.
I don't. Then you're gonna have to help me understand it because I don't know what it was.
You generated a vast light.
Oh yeah, it was the daylight too. Yep. Starved of virtue and daylight. They this part you may not know. When Baba rescued me, the foreman of the workers that I was employed by basically threw the bowl of shadow fragment on him, and it started encasing him. At the time, it was the most frightening thing I'd ever seen, but he got phalanx to tear a hole in the roof, which let in the sunlight, and then kept them in place by the touch, so that they all just burned up and fizzled out in the sunlight. So, and I mean, when the first year, when I was attacked by the shadow that was possessing Horn, or was working with Horn, the sun was setting, but it wasn't set yet. And even though it didn't seem to be scared by the sunlight, when it was chasing me, it avoided it. So there's definitely something about light that is dangerous to them.
If you think of anything else that you know about how to put a shadow out of commission permanently, you have my number, let me know.
Well, in olden days, there was a thing that could contain them. I think a lot of the knowledge has been lost about how that was made, because for some reason, the High King at the time decided that they needed to conceal all knowledge of shadows and said it was already knowledge about how to defeat them. But yeah, I really wish we could find that, or the pattern for that, how to create that thing. But it is possible. According to the Gilbertine Chronicles, they were contained in Gilbert's sword, which was coated in something that they got from somewhere. It's not very specific in the Chronicles.
Definitely redacted.
He said he went into the garden and he came out with this amazing, spectacular sword that contained shadows. I have a feeling that some of that was redacted as well.
This garden?
What?
This garden that we're leaving as we
It
speak?
was in a different city, but it seems to have been a similar garden in a Kinnan city somewhere, which was probably not named in the Chronicles.
Probably didn't even specify Kennan City.
An ancient city.
Actually, yeah, probably even that much
Ancient
information
garden.
is not,
Ancient
actually
city.
that much wouldn't even be in there.
It was
Yeah, I
also,
think that's a question actually. Where's Joseph?
Even
Because
even
it
the
was Elias
details
that
of
wrote
what,
it.
Yeah,
the
he made
details
up.
of the sword are completely not
I
there.
was not
the
allowed
point
to
is
give
he
any
went
details.
in with a regular sword.
What do you mean
No,
not
even
allowed to
that
fucking
was
deal
not
because you're
would
like,
not have been
no.
specified.
Okay.
Oh, I actually was under oath not to. It doesn't mean that Elias didn't drop hints.
But you would be very, yeah.
Okay.
Not the sword, but
Not even the
stuff.
a sword coated in something from somewhere. You didn't even tell me
Just
that.
that the sword
It's just
was
a
able
sword.
to.
Just a sword
The
that
sword
contains
was a
shadows.
prison.
Yeah.
is
Cool.
what- yeah.
I have read your book.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
Andrew got it out.
We've all read the fragments of the Book of Shadows and the Gilbertine Chronicles.
I have not read the Gilbert. Anyway, character
You
has
missed
not
out.
character has not gotten them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It
If
was
you tell
before
her in
you.
this conversation, she will force feed them to you.
Yeah,
She
do that.
loves them so much.
Give me
So you
give
are
me a
now
book.
reading the Gilbertine Chronicles. as of
Yeah.
Christmas.
Cool. Down.